Welcome to Booked, Busy, and Building, the podcast for dreamers, doers, and everyday people making it happen. Whether you're building a business, a mindset, or a better version of yourself, this is your space to stay grounded, get inspired, and keep growing no matter how full your calendar gets. So if you're chasing your dreams and figuring it out as you go, this is your space to stay motivated and keep building. So tune in every week for new episodes. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Booked, Busy, and Building. Today, we are in a new location. If you are watching on YouTube, we're filming this in my living room. I wanted to do a little bit of a more cozy episode for you guys because it's Sunday night, it's late at night. It is just the perfect little cozy vibe. But for today's episode, we are going to be talking all about how to navigate friendships as an overly ambitious woman, as someone who has really big dreams and goals in life, and especially when you have built your own seat at the table. I have my phone here. Obviously, I'm going to be reading a little bit of my notes. This is something, and it is a topic that I feel like it doesn't really get discussed a lot when it comes to the world of entrepreneurship and self-growth. Like, friendship is such a big thing, and it's something that I'm just going to be honest, like personally, I have always struggled with friendship and watching TikToks and seeing things on social media of other girls that have friend groups, they have girls' night outs and all these different things. And I feel like you can't help but even compare yourself just a little bit and think, wow, these girls are doing this, this, and that. These girls have XYZ going on, and I am someone that honestly, like, I have compared myself to that so many times. And so as you evolve, as you grow, as you start building the life it is that you've always wanted, you are also going to come to terms and realize that not everyone is meant to come up with you. Not everyone is going to grow and go up there with you as you start to level up in life. And that's okay. Like, not everyone is 100% meant to be there in every era of your life that you go through. So in this episode, I really want to talk all about how to be intentional with your energy, how to recognize who genuinely pours into you, and also how to give yourself that permission to outgrow what is no longer serving you, because I know so many of us can sometimes struggle with that. So let's just get into it. As you guys know, at the beginning of every single episode, we do a little booked, busy, and building check-in, which is basically questions to ask yourself when it comes to what are you building in life, where do you want to go next, and what are you doing right now to get there. So I have the questions written down right here and just some thoughts that I was thinking throughout this week. But number one is, what opportunities are you stepping into this week and how are you staying booked? I am honestly trying to be more comfortable and do things that are a little bit more out of my comfort zone. That is something that I am stepping into more specifically this week, and it's a way that I'm staying booked because last week I had a bunch of events. If you guys didn't know, I have a personal YouTube channel and I did a little like events week in my life where I took you guys to Adweek. Well, I went to Social Media Week, which is hosted by Adweek, and then I also had an Apple event. I went to Emma Grade's book tour. I just had so much going on. It was such a fun little week. That just made me realize, like, I want to step more into saying yes to events, getting out of my comfort zone, and going to New York even if I don't feel like it. Because if you guys didn't know, I live in New Jersey. I feel like I've said this a million times in all my episodes, but I live in New Jersey, and sometimes it is such a stretch to go into the city and take the train and take the path and then the subway and all of these things to get into the city. So I'm just like, you know what? I really want to get back into being in my events era and meeting people, connecting with people, making new friends in New York. That's just something that I'm like, I need to finally just like stop living in my little shell and being so like sheltered up in my apartment, and I actually have to get out. Number two is, what is taking up your time and energy right now and what is keeping you busy? So my contractor work, believe it or not, has really been keeping me busy, mainly because some of the people that I used to work with are no longer at that company. So it's just been a lot of work on the other people that are still at the company. So we're all just kind of like moving around and trying to put out all of these mini fires that are happening throughout the week. It's been a little bit busy, but I'm very grateful that this is my job and that this is my life, because these are definitely times that I prayed for and that I am so grateful for. So that is something that I am really staying busy with over these last couple of weeks. And lastly, what are you intentionally working towards for your future self and building? So this is definitely really personal to me right now. I feel like I have struggled a lot with staying consistent, and that is something that I really want to step into, because we are now in the second quarter of the year, which is crazy. And I'm like, even more, now is where I really need to step into this version of myself that I set my mind to something and I actually do it. And so with this new quarter, like right before I filmed this podcast episode, I was upstairs, I was in my office, and I was just like writing down all of my goals, everything it is that I want to do. I want to get back into having my journal and physically writing my goals out, because I have so many journals when I was in high school and in college where I would write down like physically all of my goals and all the things it is that I wanted to accomplish. And over the years, I feel like as things have become way more digital, I just do everything online now and on Canva and in Asana. But I really want to bring back that like personal touch with everything it is that I'm doing, keeping my journal, being consistent with it. And on top of that, just actually sticking with a routine, because I have so many different things going on all of the time, so many different ideas, and it's so hard for me to stay consistent with them, because the problem is that I don't have the best systems in place for what it is that I'm doing. And because of that, it leads to inconsistency. So it's not that I don't have the motivation, it's not that I don't have the inspiration. I just really struggle with finding the correct systems. So I really want to maybe even reread Atomic Habits. If there's something I can do or learn to really help me like break those, not bad habits, but to help me break those things and like build better systems, I feel like I'll be really happy. And that's just a skill that I can take with me throughout my entire life. So those are the 3 things that are part of the Booked, Busy, and Building check-in. Let's get right into this episode. Tip number 1 is pay attention to how you feel after spending time with certain people. So there have been so many times growing up, whether it was in middle school or in high school, where I genuinely felt like after certain hangouts or after being around certain people or being in certain environments, I just knew I didn't feel like I was my 100%. I didn't feel like I could be myself, or I didn't even feel like myself in general. Majority of my life, I have felt very left out. I made a promise to myself after that, where after high school, I was like, I am never going to put myself in this kind of position again. I am never going to feel this way again. And I genuinely want to really work on friendships as I get older. Like that was something that I told myself, and I never really thought too much of it as I got older. When you leave a certain hangout or a certain environment and you just feel like you couldn't be yourself, or you felt like whatever it is, like you just didn't feel super confident in how that was, I feel like that's a sign, and that's the biggest piece of evidence of, do you want to continue to feel that way your whole life? Or do you want to actually start to value the people that you're around? Do you want to start to be more intentional about your energy and who gets a slice of that, who gets a piece of that? Because energy is so, like, you need to protect it, you need to take care of it. And if you're giving it to the wrong people, what are you going to be left with at the end of the day? So if you notice that, like, after you leave an environment or after you leave hanging around certain people, that you feel drained or insecure or even small, like that is basically your evidence right there. Do you want to continue to be around that? And do you need to? When I graduated high school, like I said, I kind of vowed to myself, I'm never going to feel this way again, where I feel like I am not my 100% around certain people. You got into your dream school, which was the Fashion Institute of Technology. And now you have this like 4-year timeline where you need to use these next 4 years to your full advantage. Do the internships, do the random part-time jobs, go above and beyond in class, try out XYZ, start the passion project, do this, do that, invest into your hobby, etc. Like I really told myself, use these next 4 years to try and get up and fall and do it all over again. But a lot of that also had to do with friendship. Like I was like, if this thing is not working out, just cut it out. And that's the hardest thing that I've had to do growing up, is like cutting off people, and you should not feel guilty for that. Like, just because you've known this person for this many amount of years, or just because you know this person because of this, or maybe you guys went through something together, or whatever it is, like, it is time to just cut those people out and to finally focus on like this new fresh of breath air with new people that actually deserve to be around you and that you deserve to be around them. Because that's the other thing, is there are people who want certain kinds of friendships, or they want to be around certain kinds of people to get the benefit from that, which I don't think that's fair. The people that I have in my life right now, if I were to have had attracted them years ago, I would not be ready for those friendships. I would not be ready for those kinds of things because I was not who I wanted to be yet. Over the years, I've really built myself into being my dream woman, into being who it is that I wanted to be. But that was because I learned my self-worth, and I learned these are the kinds of people and these are the kind of environments that I simply just don't want to be around. Like, that was my evidence. And so ask yourself, how do I feel after being around these people? Do I feel inspired? Do I feel drained? Do I feel recharged? Or am I exhausted? Am I maybe even a little bit anxious after seeing this person? Because the energy doesn't lie. Like, that is going to be the biggest thing that's going to tell you the truth. So protect your energy and just be really picky about who you're around, because again, it's not fair to have to exert yourself so much, especially around people that you just feel like they are not your people. And you can feel it in the room. You can feel it in the energy when you just want something more, and like, this is not serving you anymore. That was kind of like the low point that I hit in my life, where I realized these people and what they are about and what they want to do in life, like, that is not serving where I want to be. And it's okay to be lonely for a few years. Like, you are probably not going to meet your crowd or your people or your partner. Like, the same thing can be applied with relationships. If you have not met your Mr. Dream Man or your Mrs. Dream Woman, if you haven't met that yet, don't be in a rush. Like, we are all so in a rush to get to XYZ. And it reminds me so much of this quote that I heard from Emma Grade, where she said, she is now, I think, like 43, 44, like she's in her 40s. And she said, I didn't get my dream life up until the last 5 years. Like, the last 5 years have really been where I'm like, wow, I'm living my dream life. I have my dream job, my dream this, my dream that. And it's like, she's literally in her 40s. And it's like, now she's finally living that and reaping the rewards of how many years, how many decades of hard work. So it's like, you can take that same thing and apply it with friendship. You are not going to get it immediately, and it may even happen years from now, but it's like, when you finally get it, you're going to be like, wow, like, this whole thing was worth it, because you protected yourself, you protected your energy, and you knew your self-worth. Tip number 2, there are 2 kinds of people in life, and I feel like we've all realized this, but there's the people that you can have a really good time with, and then there's the people that you can actually go to when you need a shoulder to cry on, when you want someone to be there for you, when you want someone to tell good news to. Like, that's the thing, is you don't need friends just for going out. You don't need friends just for this or friends just for that. Like, when you find your people, they are going to be all of that wrapped into one. And I feel like my sister is the best example of that. Like, she is someone that when I have good news, I tell her. When I have bad news, I tell her. When I feel good, when I feel bad, when I just feel anything, I tell her. And it's like, she can be that person for whatever the situation is, versus having certain people that, you know, I can only text them to have a good night out, versus people that they can be that all in one for you. So be really picky and be really choosy over those kinds of people. Like, do you want those that are just going to be good for a night out? Hey, get ready, we're going out, it's Friday night. Or do you want the person that is going to also kind of be like both in one? That, to me, is what I think builds a real friendship. That's what builds real trust, because that, to me, is consistent. If, again, you are only looking for the people that want to go to the bars, they want to go to clubs, they want to do this, that, but in other areas of their life, they're not as locked in, they don't really care as much, and like, this is kind of all that is on their mind, that, not to be that person, but that already kind of gives you a little POV on who they are. Like, I have known so many of those people throughout my life. They are only really responsive and constant and active when it comes to going out and doing this and spending money all the time and blah, blah, blah. Like, pay attention to people's actions and if it actually matches their words over time, not just in a specific moment. That, again, tells you what kind of person that they are. action is everything, because people can say anything. They can say what it is that you want to hear, but it really, at the end of the day, is about what are they doing to show up for you? How are you showing up for the other person? Because that's the other thing, is don't expect to have this amazing friendship or this amazing relationship if you also can't put up your piece of the pie as well. How can you want this amazing friendship or this amazing relationship if you also have nothing to give? Like, I have had friendships like that before, where there's girls and people that are like, this is what I want in a man, this is my dream man list, blah blah blah, but like, I'm looking at them like, what do you bring to the table as well? Like, what can you also offer? Because you can't just expect someone else to come and like be that person and then you can just leech off of them, because that's the other thing. Like, there are some people that are only going to want to come into your life because they know what you can provide for them, and they can kind of take the backseat and let you be the driver and the reign of the whole relationship or the whole friendship. I have been that friend so many times, and I am tired of it. Like, I really want to sometimes just have a friend be like, hey, let's go on a coffee date on this day, and I don't have to always be the one bringing it up. I don't want to always be the friend that has to coordinate and plan and do this and do that, or I don't want to be the friend that when you need something, I'm the one that you come every single time, and then that's it, and then we don't text for a while. Like, it is really draining sometimes to be that friend. I'm not even going to say sometimes. It's draining all the time to be that friend. You need to also have something to bring to the table. And it reminds me a lot about my personal relationship as well. I've been in a relationship for the last 7, almost 8 years with my boyfriend. I realized like over the years that my boyfriend has things that compliment me. I do things that compliment him. Like, it just works. But it's like, I don't bring nothing to the table and he doesn't bring nothing to the table. We have our own things that complement each other, and that's how that thing works. Back to the tip number 2, like looking for consistency, not just fun moments. A real friend, a real person, someone that you can count on is always going to be there for you, and not just in the moment. This is a really, really good tip. I'm honestly going to say, like, write this down. Take a pen out. Know the difference between a friend versus a familiar face. By this, I basically mean, like I touched upon this a little bit in the beginning of the episode, just because you have known someone for a certain amount of years doesn't mean that they still need to be in your life or that they deserve to level up with you and be in every single era that you are going through. And some people are just meant to be seasonal. They're just meant to be here for a certain amount of time. I had really close friendships in middle school and in high school that, again, after college or even throughout college, it just started to fizzle out. I am grateful for those friendships and for those situations, because it made me into the person that I am today. Like, I am someone that I very rarely have any regrets, because every single situation and every single thing that I have been through, I have learned from that, and that has made me into now who I am today. When it comes to people being in your life only for certain seasons, it reminds me of the same thing, because it's like, maybe they weren't the most loyal, maybe they did something behind your back, maybe they did something wrong, or maybe they didn't do anything wrong and like you just don't want to be around that person anymore. That's perfectly fine. Sometimes it's really for the best, and you guys can both learn and grow and evolve in your own ways. Like, the friendships that I had over the past few years, I am glad that those people are no longer in my life, because I want them to go do their own thing. I want them to learn and be their own person, and I want to learn and be my own person. I want both of us to fly. Like, I am never going to wish ill will on anyone. Everyone has taught me a lesson, and I hope that the people that I used to know, I hope that I've taught them a lesson, and vice versa, because we can all learn from each other, whether the situation is good or bad. I also have noticed, like, sometimes you're on a different level and this person's kind of still down here, and sometimes they want to bring you down with them, when it's like, no, like, I've already learned this lesson. I've already been down there and I learned from that already. You're not going to drag me down. I'm going to keep going. And if that means there's going to be this disconnect that's created and they're no longer going to be able to be in your life, then so be it. Let's not be afraid to cut people off. I am over here and this is just not working anymore. It's simply just not happening. Let's not be afraid to do that, because the more that you hold on to that dead weight, it is just going to continue to stop you from being your true self and from really, really, really growing into the person it is that you can be and that you deserve to be. Tip number 4, we are at the last and final tip for today's episode, which is be the friend who you are looking for and set the standard too. So we did touch upon this just a little bit in the episode, but again, if you want a certain kind of friend, you got to be ready to also be that kind of friend. And it's the same thing with relationships. What are you bringing to the table? What can you also do to provide for this as well? And it doesn't mean that everything needs to be transactional or that there has to be something that you are getting or the other person is getting out of this relationship or this friendship, but it literally just means like, what are you doing as well to kind of meet that person in the middle, and that you are not just being the person that I want this, I want that, and you don't have anything that you can provide as well. Because if I'm going to be friends with somebody, I want to learn from you. I want you to learn from me. Like, that is what I am searching for in this new era of my life. And if I wasn't in a relationship, that's also what I would be looking for. I would be like, how can we both learn from each other? So that is what I take into friendships. My sister and I are such a good example of that, because what I don't have, she has, and what she doesn't have, I have, and we learn from each other. Like, when I'm down, she picks me up, and when she's down, I pick her up. We are there for each other. We are that lending hand. And so can you be that for somebody else? And I think this is another important question to ask yourself is, do you have the capacity and the space and the energy and the time to also be that person? You want friendships, you want this, you want that. Can you even be that friend for someone if you want that right now? Do you even have the time and the energy to pour into a friendship if your dream best friend or your dream friend group came into your life right now? What I wanted in a friend years ago is not what I want now. It's completely different because, like I just said, I want to learn from somebody. I want us to be there for each other. I, again, want you to pick me up when I'm down, and I want to pick you up when you're down. That is exactly what I am looking for. I want to be around girls that are business owners, that have hobbies. Their relationships aren't their entire life. They have other things going on for themselves. They want to go up. They want to level up. They want to be successful. They want to grow and be better. Like, that is genuinely the next era of life that I am chasing. Like, I am really channeling my Emma Grade self-improvement, her new book. Like, that is genuinely what I am channeling right now. Set the tone for what you want, but also be prepared to provide a little bit of the piece of the pie. And if you never communicate what you want, if you never communicate like what it is that you were looking for, then how are you going to get that? And I mean that in a way where everything I just listed right now of like the kind of friends that I'm looking for in the future, you need to have that list for yourself. And I feel like with that list that I just named, I know what I can bring. And it's like, I already have that list laid out of this is what I am looking for. So when I hang out with certain people or when someone comes into my life, like, those are the things that I'm looking for, that I am evaluating. And I'm not saying it to be like, okay, like, if this person doesn't have all of these different things, then I can't be friends with them. That's not what I mean at all. But it's like, I have my standards and I don't want to settle for less, because life is short. Like, why would we settle for less when we can go out there and get our dream life? We can go out there and make our dreams come true. Be picky. That's why I say that. Like, be picky about everything it is that you do, and your life and your energy, even the clothes you wear. Like, how you do anything is how you do everything. So stop with the one-sided friendships. Stop trying to keep something alive when the other person isn't tending to it. The right friendships, it's going to feel easy. It's going to feel mutual. You want to be around people that you can learn from and grow from. I think that's so underrated. And with so many of my past friendships, I just realized like I was so stagnant. I wasn't growing, and I was the same person that I was over the years, and I even molded into somebody that I wasn't. I was okay with the gossip and the drama and talking about this person when I'm not even that person in general. Like, you want to surround yourself with people who are going to elevate you, or you're going to end up staying stagnant. Like, you want to be really careful about who it is that you are around. And I'm saying this as a woman that is building something that is going to be so big and successful. And as a woman that genuinely has really big dreams and goals, you cannot afford to be around the wrong energy or around the wrong people. Make sure that you are very careful about who is in your corner. Friendships need to feel like a safe space. So many people are so jealous of others, and like I said, they want to bring you down with them to their level. Don't let that happen. Be genuinely who it is that you want to be. Show up every day as who you are, and I promise you, you're going to start to attract the right energy and the right people, and the right things are going to come into your life. But everything takes time. Do not rush. Take things day by day, and I promise you, one day everything is going to line up. Whoever your dream friendship group is, or even if it's one person, even if it's a dream relationship, all the things will come in time, but don't be afraid to just work through a lonely era until the right people come into your life. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Let me know if you're watching this on YouTube or on Spotify video, and if you guys like this little cozy setup, I will definitely continue doing it, and I'll see you guys in my next episode. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for tuning in to Booked, Busy, and Building, where we keep it real, stay growing, and are always showing up for ourselves. Remember that you're not behind, you're in the middle of becoming, so keep building what matters, and the life you want is already yours. And until next time, stay booked, stay busy, and keep building.